Hello, my dears. Today I decided to attract your attention to some videos that were already made on my channel, because I'm not sure that even those who subscribed to my channel, really went to it and saw the videos that already were made before the podcasts that I started this year. And one of the podcasts is It is easy to learn English. It is about words, because when you want to speak English, yes, it's necessary to know what to say. So words, expressions, collocations, and how to say it, grammar structures. So words are really very important. And this video is going to be made from 3 videos actually, and it is about the words like head, eye, and read. And it's a good idea to pay attention that they can be not only nouns but also verbs, and the idioms are given with these words. If they can be verbs, then there are phrasal verbs. So I hope that it is rather interesting, and it will be very interesting for you. So let's start watching. Let's do it. First of all, the head is the part of the body with eyes, ears, nose, etc. What can we do with the head? We can raise, lower, bow, turn, nod, shake, and scratch our heads. We can raise our heads when it's necessary to look up. We lower the head in shame. We bow while saying prayers. We usually say prayers to the good. We can turn our head to look at something. If we agree, we nod the head. If we disagree, instead of saying no, we can shake it. And to think hard, we sometimes need to scratch our heads. For example, they had to scratch their heads to solve the problem. But there are other meanings. The head can be the mind or the brain, what's going on in your head, or just use your head. It can be, instead of a headache, as a continuous pain in your head, but it is informal style. In spoken English we can use it. I had a really bad head yesterday. It can be a person in charge of somebody or something, as a leader or a boss. For example, the head of state, the crowned heads for queens and kings, the head of the delegation. It can be the head of the table as the most important seat. For example, our dad sat at the head of the table. And in the meaning for each person, a head or per head. For example, it costs $5 a head. There are lots of idioms with the head. Let me give you just 10 of them. Knock your heads together means to force people to stop arguing and behave in a sensible way. For example, hey students, will you please knock your heads together? Let's return to our lesson. Be banging somebody's head against a brick wall. Keep trying to do something that will never be successful. Oh, it seems to me I'm banging my head against a brick wall. Hide somebody's head in the sand, to refuse to admit the problem or to deal with it. He realized that there was a problem, but he preferred to hide his head in the sand. Can't make head or tail of something, to be unable to understand something. Well, I can't make head or tail of your writing. Drum something into somebody's head. Oh, it's about teachers. To repeat something a lot of times. For example, when they try to explain grammar rules. Let's continue. Have eyes in the back of somebody's head, to be aware of something that is difficult or impossible to see. Well, I have eyes in the back of my head. Have somebody's head in the clouds, to have unrealistic ideas or plans. Heads will roll. Some people will be punished. It's also an informal style, so it's better to use in spoken English. Keep your head or keep a cool head, to remain calm. And put your heads together, to think about or discuss something as a group. So students, will you please put your heads together and let's try to solve this task. But it also can be a verb, as you can see. The meanings are to move towards, for example, where is she heading? To lead or to be in charge of something. The delegation was headed by the Prime Minister himself. To be at the top of a list of something or a line of people. To head a procession, a march. And speaking about books, be headed. For example, the first chapter was headed Our School. And as it can be a verb, there can be phrasal verbs. Be heading for, be going to experience something, sometimes it can be a bad situation, cause I'm going to that stormy weather soon. Head off, to get in front of somebody to make them turn back or change direction. For example, we were headed off by the police at the crossroads. And we can use head up instead of to head, the same meaning, just to head a department, a part of organization, means to be a leader. So just one word, but we can use it in so many different situations. Thank you very much for your attention. Its main meaning, of course, is the part of the body. The eyes can be different in colors and shapes. They can be dark, small, round, green, gray, blue, brown, hazel. Hazel means between the light brown and green or gold. What can we do with our eyes? We can roll our eyes, close them, open, lower, narrow, widen. Let's look at these words. To roll eyes means to show surprise, or we roll our eyes to show surprise. We can lower our eyes to look down at something. If we look at somebody suspiciously, we narrow our eyes, and we widen the eyes if it's necessary to look at somebody in disbelief, or we don't believe somebody. Other meanings. The ability to see, to have a good eye. With an eye of somebody, a particular way of seeing something, for example, with an eye of a teacher or with an eye of an engineer. An eye of storm, come area at the center. An eye of needle, the hole that you put the thread through. And there can be an eye on potato, a dark mark where another plant will grow. What idioms there can be? Let's look at them. The apple of somebody's eye, someone who is loved more than others, or it can be about some things. For example, she is the apple of her granddad's eye. As far as the eye can see, to the horizon. As far as the eye can see, there is a nice valley with beautiful flowers. Be all eyes, be watching something or somebody with a lot of interest. The children were all eyes as their mother unwrapped the presents. And in front of somebody's eyes, in front of somebody, someone grabbed the bag in front of her eyes. A bird's eye view from a high position. We had a bird's eye view from the top of the skyscraper. Easy on the eye or ear, it's informal style, pleasant to look at or to listen to. The space around was easy on the eye. An eye for an eye, it's a saying. Somebody should be punished in a way the same they have done to you or somebody else. It was based on the principle an eye for an eye. And for somebody's eyes only, only for a particular person. This is for his eyes only. Let's continue. Hit somebody in the eye. To be obvious to somebody. Obvious means clear. They hit him on the eye by telling the truth. In the public eye, known through the internet, TV, newspapers, etc. For example, she doesn't want her life to be in the public eye. Keep your eyes open means look for something that you hope to find or to see. It is necessary to keep your eyes open if you would like to improve your English. And look somebody in the eye. Look straight at somebody, not to be shy. Look me in the eye and tell me it again. And the last group of idioms. Not believe somebody's eyes, informal style, to be surprised at something you see. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw them. See or look at something through somebody's eyes, the way another person sees something. Just look at it through your parents' eyes. Close your eyes to something, to pretend you haven't noticed something. You can't just close your eyes to his behavior and with somebody's eyes shut, which means very easily. I can do it with my eyes closed or shut. I often did it. As you can see, there is more interesting information. It can be a verb, to eye, to look at something carefully, as if you want something or suspect it's wrong. Black eye, it's not about color, it's a bruise, when somebody receives a hit on eye. Eagle eye means to be good at noticing things or to watch things carefully. I saw, it is a building or an object that is unpleasant to look at. That building is a real eye saw. Eye strain, a condition of the eyes because of reading or looking at the screen, for example, computer screen, for a long time. We also can use eyesight instead of an eye. For example, we can say to have a good eye or to have a good eyesight. Eyesight can be good, bad, poor. And there is one more word, eyewitness, which is about the person who can give some details to the police about the crime or criminal. This podcast, It is Easy to Learn English, is about words. We started with head and eye, the words that we usually know as nouns. This time vice versa. Let's take the word that we usually know as the verb, to read. So let's start. As a verb, it has different meanings, so let's look at them. To understand the meaning of what is written or printed, to go through words in silence or speaking them to other people, find out about something by reading, to guess what others are thinking, and to interpret. You can also see here 5 sentences, A, B, C, D, E. So please pause this video and try to match the meanings of the verb with the examples that are given. It is also a good idea to read the sentences aloud, but while reading, pay attention that in sentences A, C, and E, we pronounce the first form of the verb read after modals and as infinitive, but in sentences B and D, they refer to the past, so we should pronounce read. The spelling is the same, but pronunciation is different. For more meanings and for more examples. The meanings: to be written in a particular way, to get information from a measuring instrument, to take information from a disk, and to study a subject. And the same task, will you please match the examples with the situations or with the meanings? To complete this task, pause this video and take as much time as you need. The section Idioms. Idioms with the verb to read. Read between the lines, which means to discover new, not stated meaning. Yes, it's not written here, but I can read between the lines. Read somebody like a book, to understand somebody's thoughts and feelings. Look, I know her, I can read her like a book. Read my lips, used to tell somebody to listen to what you are saying. Read my lips, you must do it. And take it as read, to accept something with no discussion. Take it as read and let's do it. And pay attention once more that it is an irregular verb and we should pronounce read, read, read. The first, the second, and the third form of the verb. The spelling is the same, but pronunciation is different. Pay attention to this fact. Now phrasal verbs, as you can see. Read back to read something to others in order to check that it is correct. Just read that back to us. Read into to think that something means more than it really does. Don't read too much into what they say. Read on to continue reading. It's an interesting story. Read on. Read out to read something using your voice, especially to other people. Shall I read it out? Read over or read through to read something carefully from beginning to end to look for mistakes or check details. Read through what you've written, please. And read up or read up on to read a lot about a subject. I'll read up on the subject before our discussion. It can also be a noun and an adjective, as you can see. Nouns, read and readability. You can see the meanings of these two words. Now let me give you some examples to make it clear. I like having a quiet read. This book is a gripping read. For readability, some space between lines can improve readability of this text. Now to adjectives, read and readable. Again, you can read the meanings yourselves, but let me give you the examples. Read. She is well read in French literature. Readable. It can be more readable with examples and pictures. So everyone can see that it's very important to pay attention to which part of the speech the word can be, not only the meaning that you need for this or that sentence or text. Thank you very much for your attention.